Hey,
Hey,
Mark, how's it going?
good. How you doing?
Good.
Good.
So you ran some numbers for condos
hmm
for the month of November,
Sure did.
and how is it looking?
You know what? Condo sales rebounded in November.
Really?
It's surprising. So this November 2023, there was 35 sales. Last November, 33 sales. How many
Get out of town.
how many months have we kind of seen it off? There was
Off by a lot.
here. Yeah. So I was kind of surprised. So November, some condos sold. So here's a breakdown. 300 to 500,000, 20, 500,000 to 700,000, 12, 700 to a mil, 3. So that higher range is still being impacted. Okay. Even some lower ranges with high condo fees are sitting on the market still. There's one on Blake that's low fours, low fours, but the condo fees, and it's a 2 bedroom and a den. I think it's a den. Don't quote me on that. But the condo fee is not in change. Never going to sell that. There goes your low end buyer can't afford the condo fee.
Yeah.
Forget that. So I'm seeing some action. One's a Bell Farmer selling very quickly. So
And they're at the lower price range, right? Up
right.
there.
So and that's not a bad area up there. I mean, a lot of seniors up there. Everything's close by. You got pharmacies. You got some restaurants in there. You're close to the highway. They do a great job maintaining the building, and it's quiet. Surprisingly.
Well, and now with that Cundles Plaza there,
Yeah,
there's the shoppers, the theater, the
right,
LCBO, dollar store, like every restaurant known to man's in there.
right. There's some good amenities close by, so we're seeing that. Um, so we go to condo townhomes like in Timberwalk, we're seeing some 120 days because the condo fees 600-700 bucks. I'm going to help a friend price one tomorrow on Quail, and my first question was, "What's the fee?" Oh, it's really big. I didn't ask you how big it was. What's the fee? I think it was 700 or 800. Okay, because that's going to be sitting a hell of a long time. So you better price it right. So we're going tomorrow at 1:30 to see that. One's on Ferris Lane too. I've sold in there too. Some in there for 126 days. They have a common element fee, but that's some of them sell okay in there, but still kind of really outdated. Like put some work in it, they sell okay because they got some good floor plans. Seeing a lot of terminations, relists, and condos to get the pricing. I think a lot of the pricing is off a little bit in the market, and I think the seller today has to, if it has a higher fee, it's just not realistic for a lot of people to jump in. So prices are being adjusted a bit, and inventory has come down. So, which was
Wow.
freehold market again, determinations, but the old, there's a handful of Nautica still sitting there doing nothing, right?
In the 800s.
Here's what I love. They let them get really dusty and dirty, and they don't change the price. They just sit there, and sit there. And some are even vacant. So I don't know. Like I'm really shocked at that. Obviously, they're trying to maybe keeping the pricing integrity, but or there's just not enough buyers for 800, $900,000 condos there. And I think that's what it is too.
Well, yeah, normally at that price range in Nautica, they're most of the time, not all the time, but most of the time, it's people retiring and they're paying cash.
I know.
Like they
No,
don't even need the mortgage
no,
or the interest rate doesn't even affect them much.
no, no.
Because I
So
know every buyer that I've ever had, they like for that building, they either need a very small mortgage or none.
or not. Yeah. Well, that's it. And I just think, with there's some uncertainty. Maybe again, we know a lot of people are just pushing things off a bit. They want to see some more clarity in where the market's going, I think, right?
And I'm getting a lot of comments where people think we're blowing smoke up their ass.
No, we're
Like
not.
they think that the interest rates are going to keep going to hell and they're not coming down and like where are we getting that information? Well, like it's actually available anywhere if you Google it.
Here's the best information I've seen, because all the other ones in Canada talk about what TIF's going to do, and it's from some economist here, some economist there. Powell in the US last week, because I think we talked about this a bit, sees 3 rate decreases happening in 2024. 3. You tell me. That's from the man himself in a way. And their economy is here and ours is in the shitter. And he's saying that he expects some slowdowns coming. We've already experienced it. We've had 2 negative GDP reports for Q2 and in Q3. And I really don't think Q4 is going to be any better. So we're technically in a mild recession right now. Maybe we're not seeing it, but it's there. Like
Yeah.
there's some people really struggling to, who's telling me today? I was a guy who was skiing with us. I go to Costco. I walk out with 3 or 4 things, it's $100 some. Like things are pricey. So again, not seeing all these crowds. Not that I'm a big shopper, but I was out on the weekend. It's Sunday. I'm going out. I'm getting this done. Really didn't have that much trouble getting a parking spot in Costco in a sense. It was busy, but I expected busier.
Mark, I was at the Georgian Mall this afternoon.
Yep.
The Georgian Mall, and it's December 20th.
Mhm.
And I got a parking spot like 3 stalls away from the door.
Yeah.
When does
So
that ever happen at Christmas?
doesn't.
Never.
So, I think families today that are, managing okay or just getting by, I don't think there's going to be Santa Claus isn't going to be stocking their houses full of gifts. They just can't afford it. So
Yeah.
I can't wait to see some holiday numbers come out for retail sales, because I don't know. I'm just not seeing that's going to be great in Canada. I can tell you that much.
Well, don't
So,
you think it's funny that November housing market sucked and condos kind of rebounded a bit? Because normally the people buying the condos are the people selling the houses. Or are they first time buyers?
oh, not well. Maybe some are. Don't know how many, but not all of them. I can tell you that much. Downsizers say, hey, we know we don't need this house anymore. Let's get into one. Maybe they sold. Maybe they moved up from the city. There's so many pieces to that puzzle. So
You think it's investors too?
no, investors aren't buying right now. Why would they buy? Why would they buy?
Yeah, I know.
Not buying. Rates are too high.
Yeah, they don't cash flow. Not only do they not cash flow, well, you got to put out a whole big chunk every month.
Right. So they're not going in negative positions every month to support that investment. Hey, if someone's sitting on a bunch of cash, go, what am I going to do? Yeah, go buy a piece of property. Find some write-off somewhere else. Expense the crap out of it. But a lot of them like to go with 20%. Go with 20% today. You're not cash flowing on anything.
No, nothing.
Nothing. So
Even
it's
at 600,000 with a duplex, you're not.
100% you're not. The rents are high, but it's not going to cover, the mortgage payment and taxes. It's just not. When I had my properties, yeah, the odd one I'd be out $150 or whatever, max to. Big deal. That property, they'd be out 700 or 800 bucks,
Yeah, I know.
right? Subsidizing that. So no, I don't know. It's just funny, right? Because condo sales, when they kind of get recorded too, right? The time you get this, okay, we're going to do a home inspection, and some still do it. Financing, there's 5 days, and then no one's ordering the status till after the 5 days. So
Yes.
property can be tied up for 3 weeks, maybe. So maybe
Yeah.
all those October numbers kind of got pushed into, that's what I'm thinking. A lot of the got pushed into the November numbers. That's what I'm thinking, but who cares? They're up. Congrats to those sellers and buyers. Um, but
It's
yeah,
just shocking to me because
it was.
normally the condo market is kind of a bit behind the housing market. So you see an increase in the housing market, then the increase in condos. You see a decrease in the housing market, then the decrease in condos.
Yeah.
Like it's usually a step behind
Mhm.
normally.
Mhm. So I was surprised at the numbers, because we haven't really seen some good results coming out of the condo market, and really there was a ton of inventory. Did some sellers get smart and say, you know what, price isn't working. What's going to work? Did they dig deeper and go, hey, you know what? I think we need to price here to turn this property today, because prices have come down in the condos. I found a little bit from the summertime.
Hmm.
I didn't dive in that closely. Yeah, because we've seen some longer days on market in that type of housing today. And we know why. Condo fees impacting the sales and it impacts the price. So
Is it a little bit of a rush before I want to move in before Christmas?
maybe,
Yeah.
maybe some are vacant. So maybe, right? We used to see that rush. We see that rush years ago in the
Yeah,
market.
you did.
See it.
You would see like in the
Strong month.
beginning of November or the
Mhm.
first couple weeks in November, you'd see a little bit of a rush
You would.
where, okay, I want to be moved in before Christmas.
Right.
And then in January, it'd be freaking dead because nobody wants to do anything, right?
Who wants to know? No. So it's a bit of that, right? So there's
We're
many.
not seeing it this year
No, we're not. We're not.
in
We're
detached houses or freehold properties. We're not seeing it.
no, we're not. So, you know, let's see what happens. I think once we see some rate decreases and they're coming, we know, then I think the condo sides will pick up a little bit. This is going to offset. Okay, you know what? Our payment's a little bit lower. We budgeted this. Great. Well, now it's time. And again, I still think there's a lot of people that are uncertain. There's a lot of people out there today that think that, oh, the rates aren't going down. The rates aren't, they're going to keep going. What are you talking about? It's all over the media. Like, do you read any information on what's going on in the economy? Because it
It's
ain't.
everywhere.
So it's bombarded with that information. So do I think that's going to excite some buyers? I think when they announce the first rate decrease, I think it's going to. Yeah, I do. And everyone thinks it's June. There's no goddamn way it's June. If this GDP report for Q4 is shit, which I think it's going to be, you're going to see it be done the first couple months. You're going to see it in April.
Well, you know what the thing is? Remember how I was telling you that there was this big article that 75% of the mortgages are going to be renewable in 2025,
Mhm.
and that they already know that there's going to be too many people in trouble and too many banks in trouble.
100%.
Well, if
100%.
they wait till the third quarters to start dropping, it's not going to help.
That's a year away though, too. It's 125. So where's our economy going to be then? I don't know.
No, but
But
what I mean is if they start going to drop in the
Mhm.
third quarter of 2024, it's too late. Like they're not going to be able to drop it enough
Right, that's
by
not
2025 for
never
it
gonna.
to make a difference to people.
And I don't think we're going to see the rates back to 2% in 2025. That's not happening.
It's never happening for
No,
years, I heard.
I don't think so. I'm in that camp too. But
It's going to go to 3 or 4 and hover there, I heard.
Canadian Mortgage Housing Corp needs to come out with some more relaxed programs. Increase the goddamn amortization. That's number one. So when we see these people renewing, okay, well, okay, honey, we got to renew right now, and it's 400 grand, and we're used to being a nice. We only have 20 more years to pay off on the house, but now the payment's going to 4,500. Now Canadian Mortgage Housing Corp has a amortization of 40 years, so our payment stays the same. Nothing changes. That's coming. That's coming soon because it's not, these people are going to be in trouble and the banks are going to be in trouble. It's coming.
Well, and this is
They
what
don't do something.
Well, and this is what the general population really doesn't really understand is that the government, they basically own the banks and run the banks. Let's be real, right? Like the government is taking care of the banks. If there's shortfalls, like they're gonna do something to protect them. They
Mhm.
have to. Like
100%.
they have to. So they can't let it get into a situation where like years ago where
Mhm.
people walked away from houses. They
Oh,
can't
no.
they can't do that.
No, no, no.
And there's a lot of people, Mark, that bought in 2020 and
Oh, I
their
know.
mortgage renewal is in 2025 and they paid top fucking dollar in
I know.
2020.
I know. I
They don't
know.
even they don't even have 20% equity now.
No. No, no, they don't. No, no, they don't.
No, not now because 2020 was craziness.
Yeah. Yeah. And we're seeing
So
it.
the government is gonna have to run some kind of interference to save the banks. They're gonna have to, and they know it. They're not
Oh,
dumb.
it's programs. It's not hard. 40-year amortization. I bought my house on Crimson Ridge back in 2006. I went from a small detached to one of the best areas in Barrie. My income didn't go up high to support that. But the goddamn 40-year amortization sure made that payment look pretty sweet to me. Sign me up for that one, thanks.
Mhm.
Did. Why not? I don't give a shit. Who cares?
Well,
40
listen, and that's another thing that
lifestyle doesn't change. Great.
people kill me these days because no one's actually going to pay off their mortgage, Mark.
Well, not anytime soon if you're one of those buyers that bought in 2020, 21, 22, and less, but there's a lot of people with good equity positions out there today. There really
I,
is.
I I think there's a lot of people with good equity positions, but I think that nobody these days really pays off a mortgage. There is a lot there is a lot of people that own their homes outright right now. There's a high percentage.
There is.
But those are older people. The our generation and those below us, if their mortgage is only $150,000, they're fucking taking out a line of credit and buying a car. They're taking out money and putting in a pool.
Yeah. Some are.
They're all refinancing and pulling money out because they understand the option of doing that and they don't owe a lot. So shit, I'm taking it out. Where our parents' generation, they didn't do that.
No, not
They
even close.
paid it off.
Paid it off. That was the rule from back then. Pay your house off, go work at a good job, get that pension. Life's okay.
Yeah.
Generation.
Everybody now figures, okay, I'm going to be paying this mortgage up till I retire, right? There's going to be equity in the house. I'm still going to have a mortgage, but when I sell, I'm going to downsize and
Big
take my equity and just buy a little place.
100%.
They don't care about having a mortgage.
Mm-mm.
The
Mm-mm.
goal isn't we got to pay this off, we got to pay this off. So why kill yourself making the payment? And I've had fights with
Yes and no. Yes and no. I kind of agree and I don't agree. I agree for that person today that's saying, okay, you know what? I want some financial freedom. I want to maybe slow down my work to maybe 5 to 4 days, or maybe go part-time because now I don't have that mortgage payment anymore. Financial security is important to a lot of people. It's definitely important to me because I don't have a mortgage, so I have a lot of freedom where I don't got to run that hamster cage all the time and get a deal done, get a deal done. But then there's a large group to what you're saying that, yeah, I think we need a $150,000 upgrade in the pool in the backyard. I think I need that new Denali truck that just came out. I really like the look of it. A Tesla's really sharp too. Maybe I'll get one of them. That's what a lot of the younger generation is doing.
they're all doing
They're right. They're not
and
worried about being financial freedom.
well, and I find well the interest rates were so low, Mark, they were barely paying anything.
No.
So who cared? You know what I mean? And they figured they're never, I'm not paying it off anytime soon, and it's a necessary evil. That mortgage is going to be there anyway. Right. And these people too, this is a pet peeve of mine because I used to be in accounting. And a big pet peeve of mine is the people that do weekly payments or bi-weekly payments. Two reasons. One, you're committing yourself, especially if you had this variable rate now, you're committing yourself to extra payments because 12 payments a month or 26 a year, when you do the math, obviously there's 2 or 3 months where you're making more than 2 payments in a month. Okay. You're making 3.
Mhm.
On the grand scheme of compound interest, it might save you. It saves you a little bit of money. I think a 25-year mortgage gets paid off in 17 and a half years.
That's huge though. That's something
Except,
that I do.
but listen, Mark, except the average person, okay, doesn't live in a house more than 5 years on average. So
Because
you haven't done fuck all except make your payments more difficult to manage because in the first 5 years, it's all interest anyway.
it is,
Now,
I disagree.
but
I,
listen, you can do the same thing by not putting pressure on yourself having a monthly payment, and on the anniversary date, put your money down if it's in the bank.
How many people are gonna do that?
Nobody.
So I was one of those people that went, how am I gonna pay my house off as quick as I can? Oh, I'm going weekly. How much can I do prepayment? 20%. Anniversary date? Great. How much can I increase my weekly payments? By 20%. And I did it. I saved years and years off the mortgage because I had the discipline to say, you know what? I'll do that. I don't need that new truck or whatever. I'm going to do this. This is important to me to build up some equity, to stay in a better equity position. Trust me, there's not many people that do that, right?
No, but the problem
Really?
that I find though is that when you do that, you're committed to those payments.
Oh,
So as
oh,
long as you're, you know, now you can't change your mortgage schedule, your payment schedule like that. You have to go through and get totally reapproved. You can't change it anymore.
you
So
can cut down the prepayment option. So when I went weekly, that was great. And I said, I can call any time and say,
you
Kev,
can't, I
take,
asked Rob, you can't do that anymore. So people in my family are on weekly.
all right,
And I said to Rob, so if they want to go monthly, he goes, oh, they have to go through the whole process and be approved now. You
that's
can't just change you can't change it. So I said to her to begin with, why not just commit to the monthly?
Mhm.
Because now they're starving, by the way, because they're
Well,
variable rate.
right. Yeah. Yeah. I can see that being a problem for some with that. Everything's great when it's a low rate. Sign me up. But as soon as the rates have gone 11 increases, holy shit. Like they're eating crap dinner and cat food.
And
Right.
now they're committed to this freaking weekly thing.
That shouldn't happen. Like there's that's just makes
They,
zero sense.
well, the bank should allow you to change that then.
Yeah, we can't afford this anymore because we're dying here because the rate increases. We need to go monthly and we need to maybe get, but I remember back then when I was doing all that, oh yeah, I can cancel anytime I want. I can just
You
keep this.
could.
Like it's kind of silly that
We
that's happening.
No, and we had the same thing. We had, I think it was every 2 weeks or whatever, and accelerated and did this and did that.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
when I was married, we did that too.
yeah,
Um, but my issue is we could change it at any time if we got into trouble,
right, right.
right? Where now you cannot do that. So now you, to me, commit to the easiest situation, and then if you get into trouble, you get sick, you can't go to work, something fucking happens, at
Yeah.
least you're not tied into this payment that you cannot make.
I think there's flexibility has to happen for that. Most people out there. Like that's just absurd. I didn't know that. Like that's
Yeah, they
just
changed that now. Well, because the thought process is this: if you change anything in that mortgage, it's a new mortgage. Remember, Rob was even telling us that when he came on.
yeah.
If you
Well,
even change it by $1, if you change anything within that, the contract is basically void. You have to go through the whole thing again. You have to start all over. Now, if I got approved at 2%,
yeah,
how the hell am I getting approved at 7 or 8? I'm not.
not gonna happen.
No. So I can't go back and change anything.
That's so stupid.
I know.
Like they gotta. When is this country gonna start making people things a little easier for people? Because we make people, they put a lot of pressure on people. When
For
is
no
the change
reason.
gonna help? Why is there still a fucking stress test for people to qualify today? I agree. It has purpose and value in a hot real estate market to make sure that, hey, things aren't always going to be this great. I mean, to
Mhm.
make sure we qualify you higher. But this market isn't there today. Why are we doing that for people? Why are we preventing people from getting into home ownership today? Making it harder for them? Why are we putting more pressure on the rental market and rental prices? Why? It makes zero sense
I
to
think they
me.
don't want to take the stress test because they don't want to have to put it back in. This because the rates are
Shit,
gonna.
put it back in. How, okay, we're taking it off. Okay, we're reintroducing it. How hard is that?
I'm
Hard to
with
do.
you. Why not?
US doesn't have that. What's a stress test? Huh? That sounds pretty stupid. Yeah, it is pretty stupid. I think it was great for a purpose in a hot market for many years. I
Mhm.
think it had some purpose. I do. And I was, because we have really tight lending practices in this country. But why don't we change and evolve? As things change, we need to adapt and put things in or take things out. Why does it always have to be grained in stone? I don't get that.
Well, and I even understand it a little bit for CMHC because your mortgage is being insured. So, but the stress test is actually lower for people that are insured. Figure
Right. Right. So, and a lot of defaults are really, really low. Like, because
they
we've
are.
had light lending, tight lending for so many years. But we always cry, look at this young generation. They're living in their mom's and dad's basement. They're paying top-notch rent. It says it takes the average first-time home buyer to save up for a down payment is 20 years. 20 years? Because they're paying big rent right now. High taxation, high cost of living. So they maybe put away $500 a month. That's a lot. I don't think they're putting away $200 a month right
Right
now.
now, they're not.
So it's absurd for that. Like,
Look at the phone bills now, too. Everybody's got the phone bill. Everybody, even if you're renting an apartment, you need the internet.
can you imagine our parents back in the day? That's how much? We're not getting that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cell phone? That's $100 a month? No, mom, that's 150 because I want the best data and the best phone plan and no worries about ever losing
Going
data,
over. Yeah.
calling it, going over. That there's you get your home internet, just call it 100, your average phone bill. Let's call that's $200. You haven't bought food yet. You haven't put any gas in the car. So
And Mark,
commuter,
well, and Mark, that's only for one person.
mhm,
That's not if you have two or three teenagers and a wife.
I agree.
And your teenagers have to have the phone because in case they're dead on the side of the road,
100%.
they like for safety issues
Yep,
in
100%.
this day and age,
Yep,
they have to have them.
100%.
So, like you think about doing that. My one poor niece has three teenagers, and at one time, like even just their cell phones were $500 or $600, and
Sir,
that's not counting all the car insurances for all these vehicles for these kids to go to these jobs and go to school, and you know what I mean?
100%
Huge, huge money.
is. And I think we're way off topic, but we might as well keep going. Is that you just said they got jobs. Okay, you got a job? Great. You got skin in the game, I call it. You want current insurance? You're paying a third of it. Bottom line. With Avery, I don't think I can't tell you the last time I bought her clothes. You
Mhm,
want and not that you want Lululemons and She Works? Yep. Go spend your money on Lululemon. I don't care.
mhm.
You eat out every day after school and not come home for dinner? I don't care. I'm not paying for it. She pays for it.
Yeah, exactly.
She's responsible. But there's other parents who go, oh no, I still buy them that, or no, I want them to save. They're not saving their money. They're spending their goddamn money. Going home,
Well,
spending it.
exactly, and
Let
it's
them buy the
pretty.
$200, Lulus and Jordans, and they won't want to be part with that kind of money. Like
Well, and I think too, I mean, if you have a two or three kids, most people these days, Mark, you can't afford to do that.
with that, but you wouldn't believe. Okay, they'll have cell phones. All have AirPods. All have Lulus. Have great footwear. We got shit growing up as kids.
Oh,
We
for
did.
sure.
So anyway,
Byway, did they have Byway up in North Bay?
yeah, they did. Yeah, they went to Byway and there's Bargain Harold's. That's our friend shop. Good deals. We're going.
My dad too. And at Christmas, it was like, what do you need? A winter coat or boots or it
Yeah.
wasn't like fucking toys and all this goddamn
No,
shit it is now.
no. You look at how much the big box retailers say with it. Walmart would have probably 30 counters of toy department. That toy department's down to 3 or 4 counters now. No one's buying toys for their kids. It's this. This is the new toy, right?
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
let's
all
get the new app.
electronics.
Gone, right? It's crazy how things have changed. Anyway, condo slash cost of living one is, this is what we'll call it, because there's lots of things we talked about where the consumers are a bit and how costly it is to live today, saving down payments, cost of a family. It's a tough one out there for people today. So anyway, I think there's some good value in this broadcast, and give it a like, give it a share, follow for more information. And this is information we're seeing. We're not making this up. We're not making our opinion. This is numbers, and then we're putting our spin on it in a sense of how we feel about the market. So anybody wants to talk more, give us a call.
Okay,
All right, see you.
see ya.